Hello. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. We'll be starting shortly, sir.
Okay, fine.
A very good afternoon to the respected principals, guest speakers, and audience. I, Aisha Ilyas, will be your host for today, and I warmly welcome you to the day 2 of the webinar series on combating post-COVID complications. This webinar series is presented to you by School of Pharmacy, Maharishi Markandeshwar University, Sadopur, Ambala, in collaboration with CliMed Research Solutions. This series on post-COVID-19 complications allows us to explore the scope of pharmacy practitioners across the world. It gives us the opportunity to gain vast amount of knowledge in the field of pharmacy during the pandemic. Yesterday, we witnessed eminent speakers who enlightened us with their knowledge and expertise. Today, we have an exciting session on a burning issue in the light of the pandemic, that is, the COVID-19 vaccine safety. To enlighten us on this often debated topic, we have with us Dr. Kanav Khera, a gold medalist and a PhD holder from MCOPS Manipal. He is currently working as an assistant professor in Department of Pharmacy Practice, MCOPS. Sir has received several accolades over the course of his career. He was appointed as Secretary General for Association of Community Pharmacy of India, national body, since August 2021. And has received an Award of Excellence in Clinical Pharmacy 2019 by KMC Hospital Pharma Association. He has received several grants for his research and was granted a copyright for his project on Manipal Cancer Registry Hospital based in January 2020. Sir has delivered dozens of talks and guest lectures and has organized several conferences and workshops. Dr. Kanav Khera, it is indeed a pleasure to have have you with us today. The platform is all yours.
Hello, my voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for the nice introduction. And first of all, I would like to thank School of Pharmacy and CliMed Research for giving me an opportunity uh, to share my knowledge in this area. And as all of you know, it is the need of the hour to know about vaccine safety. So, which is a very, very hot topic, and every day we are getting new updates. So, if I'm not wrong, the audience is like mainly pharmacy students and research scholars and faculty of pharmacy area. So I will be talking on much on what are the basic aspect of this vaccine safety, and globally what are the different standards and how we report them and how we document them, and what are the different challenges and what are the different resources available. For example, if someone wants to do research in this area, so how they can approach and get the data, because as all of you know that misinformation is a lot out there, and how to get the right information from the right platform is the need of the hour, so that we can prevent misinformation, and that is what the challenge is all about. So let me share my screen once with all of you, and then I can start. Okay, my screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, the full screen is there, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So my topic of today presentation is on vaccine safety, and to be most precise, it is on adverse event following immunization, prevention, reporting, and management. A special focus on COVID-19 pandemic. So this is a very new term, maybe for many of you. It is the short name is AEFI reporting system. That is what is being followed by Government of India for reporting of vaccine-related side effects across India platform. And many of you, maybe you had got your vaccination shots, and maybe some of you may had experienced some of the side effects. So let us talk on what are the different side effects and all we will be talking and discussing. So we can make it more interactive in case if someone has any questions, they can add to it. And it's the questions will be most welcome during my session. So let's start with some of the basic data about this particular pandemic. As all of you know, in the last March, WHO has declared COVID as pandemic. And in India, this is the yesterday data, nearly more than 3 crore people in India had already been infected, which are reported. And there is an estimated that maybe an undetected cases may be much more higher than what is being reported. And number of deaths in India already which are documented is more than 4 lakh. But there are projections and expert opinions that the number can be much more higher what is being reported. So let's wait for the government to update the data in case if there is any update. So coming in journal, those who are very new to this area, so this is how a vaccine development happen. So over here, you can see an overall pipeline for vaccination development. So you have a preclinical phase in which vaccine development is happening in the laboratorical levels. Then you have different phases, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Because nowadays you can hear like many of the vaccinations are in very early stage of development. They may in the preclinical stage, or maybe some are in phase 3. So once they are in phase 4, that is, they are already approved for the market use. So like we have in with us, Covishield and Covaxin already are there. And then Sputnik vaccination is there. Moderna is getting approved in India. And Pfizer vaccination is already in pipeline. So these are the different stages of vaccine development. So phase 1 is mainly a very small phase for testing vaccination. Then you have phase 2 where actually the immunogenicity is being tested. And if you see, the phase 3 is the bigger phase in which you have around 50,000 participants for actual testing. So that is the one area when it comes in phase 3 where you have a lot of different population during the trial, and vaccine safeties are also being tested during these clinical phase. But what happened is once the vaccine is launched in phase 4, that is once it is open for the general public, that's where you get a very diversified population out there with different genetic levels, and different genetic makeup is there. So that's where you start getting a lot of different, or I will say very rare side effects which was not reported previously. So as in case of AstraZeneca, we had seen that the blood clot was reported. A lot of case reports has been reported, and there was a period when AstraZeneca was banned in many countries in Europe. And after the risk and benefit analysis, the ban was removed, and again the vaccination is launched, but definitely there is a black box warning, or there is a warning issued against a possible micro blood clotting associated with AstraZeneca. So these are the things which we have to look into phase 4 when we talk about vaccine safety. So this is the present status of the whole world. This is I had taken from London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, which actually track the vaccine development all around the world. So over here you can see there are nearly more than, I will say, 14 or 15 molecules which are in use at present. If you see over here, so we have around 19 molecules which are already approved for the markets all around the world. And there are more than 200 molecules which are in preclinical development stage. And then you have phase 1, you have phase 2, you have phase 3. So over here you can see so many molecules which are there in the pipeline all over the world. So you can see how much global, you can say, amount of research is being put into the vaccine development. Because one of the challenges what the world is facing, many people will ask, okay, why we need so many vaccinations out there? Why not single vaccines work? Because as many of you can see that now the vaccine is mutating very, very fast. So there is a possibility that the virus may mutate to such a level that the present vaccination efficacy levels or may come down drastically, and you may require some other vaccinations, maybe a booster dose or maybe some other vaccination. We call them as vaccine cocktail maybe in near future. And that's where the vaccine safety will also be a matter of concern. So safety and efficacy are the main issues with the present vaccination and all the vaccinations which are in pipeline, like for how long these vaccinations will work for us. So already I was like going through some of the news today that for maybe for some of the vaccinations, like for Pfizer vaccination and even for Covishield, those who had taken Covishield or Covaxin, already a booster dose trials are in pipeline. So you may require a booster dose maybe after maybe a year or maybe after 8 or 10 months, depend on the antibodies level in your body. So this is for your general knowledge. And let me go to my next slide. Okay, so this is a little older data, which I got it from the Government of India website only, but I will update you on this data. So this is a data which was available on Ministry of Health and Family Welfare website about the potential list of vaccine which are in pipeline in India by Indian manufacturers. So over here you have nearly 9 molecules in that, which are in collaboration with many other, and many of them are already approved in the market, like Covishield, Covaxin, Sputnik, and all. So but many other are still are going to come. And this is the present vaccinations which are getting approval in India. So you have Moderna, you have Sputnik, you have another vaccine of AstraZeneca, AZD122, then you have Covishield and Covaxin. But other are also in pipeline. I was hearing some of my friends, another 3 more vaccinations are in pipeline to get approval in next 2 or 3 months. So this is latest vaccination data in India, so which is also taken from Ministry of Health website. So nearly more than 52 crore people by today, they had been vaccinated already. So you can see it's of 13 August, today's data. So more than 52 crore people has been vaccinated. And if you see over here, more than 41 crore people had already taken this vaccinations, their first shot, and nearly more than 11 crore people has taken both of their shots. So the vaccination is quite fast in India now, and it's picking up day by day, because that's the only solution to this level. So now let's come on the monitoring level. So how the government is playing a very important role, because when this vaccination goes at a mass scale, monitoring becomes very, very important, because if we are not monitoring the progress, not monitoring the side effect, we may land up in a big troubles. So safety monitoring is very, very important. I will give you one another reason why, especially during pandemic time, uh, the safety becomes even much more important, because as all of you know that all these vaccines which are there in the market has been approved, they may have taken less than 1 or 1.5 year of their research to get approval for their market authorization. Whereas in routine practice, if we see a drug discovery process, it may take around, you can say, anywhere between 6 or 8 years up to 12 years for a drug discovery process, because it's a very intense monitoring happens and audit and review happen. But as you know, it is pandemic. So there is something known as accelerated approvals, okay, or fast track approval process, which happens. So all the regulatory bodies all around the world, like in India, CDSCO or DCGI, Drug Controller General of India office. So the whole country will put their efforts in getting approval. So that is what is known as a fast track, the priority basis. So full priority will be given for their approval. That's why you have vaccination so fast in the market. But definitely it comes with the risk. So that the risk is about safety, side effects, and all. So this is the overall structure of reporting system in India. It starts with the state level, you have district level, you have block level, and it is known as NEGVAC system, that is National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration of COVID-19. So this is the task force which is being in place and is being followed in India. So those who are very new to this system, let me introduce you to this. AEFI, that is adverse event following immunization. So COVID-19 vaccine has limited safety data. And as the day progresses, newer and newer information is coming up. So therefore, it's very important to monitor the safety of these vaccines when administered to a larger population. And a robust surveillance system would enable us to monitor these side effects. That's very, very important. And understand the safety profile of these vaccines. So everyone has to contribute. It's not only doctors has to contribute to the vaccine safety reporting, even nurses, including pharmacists or clinical pharmacists, or even patients, they can do a self-reporting in vaccine safety. So everyone has to contribute to the surveillance system to make it a success. And during this vaccination drive, AFI must be rapidly detected and promptly responded to, or else it can undermine the confidence in vaccine and immunization program. So as we had seen in initial days of vaccination drive in India, there was a lot of hindrance to the vaccination. People were not coming forward to get vaccinated. I had seen during the trial itself, because the confidence among the general public was going down. And definitely, I had seen during the time when the Covishield was banned in some part of the Europe, the confidence level of the public was came down drastically, because that was a time like even when I got vaccinated. So even I have to take a call on which vaccination I should take after going through all the safety profile data. So that was my individual decision, like which vaccinations I will go for. So similarly, even now, many people are, I come across my professional colleagues. So some is telling that I will wait for Moderna, I will wait for Pfizer. Someone is very much willing to take Covaxin, and some are preferring Covishield because of their travel obligations and all. So it's a very, very complex system which is coming forward. So everyone has to, like, all of us are pharmacists, right? So the pharmacists are the one, or I will say the clinical pharmacists are the one who will actually look into all this evidence-based vaccine, I will say, advice to the physicians, which one is safer, which one is at risk, and which particular category of patient should receive what. So you have a very big role to play in collecting all this safety information or reports which are coming up in the market, and concise and provide to your physicians for a better understanding, or provide to your patients or family member about all these updates. So you have to be up to date. That's very important. And that's what we had learned during this pandemic. So if you are not updated on different levels, when it either it comes to COVID management or vaccine or safety reporting, updating knowledge is very, very important. So coming to the EEFI surveillance system. So the overall goal of this surveillance system is to ensure that the vaccine which are administered is safe to the recipients, and the trust in the vaccine is sustained. So the trust is very important. Otherwise, we will not succeed, because even now in India, there is a very big, large number of people out there which are not coming forward to get vaccinated. So because the level, maybe the confidence level has come down about it, efficacy or safety. But definitely, after the government is adopting different measures or social awareness camps, I will say, like you can see in your telephone caller tunes, all on the TV channels, you have advertisements all over in newspapers. These are called as social awareness programs by government, so that the vaccine confidence should build up and people should come forward to take these vaccines. So, and an AFI promptly detect, report, and respond to these AEFI, which is happening, and identify programmatic errors and implement correct measures. So there are sometimes some side effects or some safety issues arises due to some programmatic errors. I will be discussing more on that. So what are some examples I will take up in programmatic errors during vaccination, which may lead to safety concerns. Then you have document the rate of AEFI for a specific vaccine or a lot. So sometimes what happened, maybe some specific lots during the manufacturing process are not proper, which may lead to, you can say, some side of maybe more side effects in that particular lot. So identifying that particular lot, like for example, recently Government of India has come up with the justification on a short supply of Covaxin. So they had told that there was some qualities issues in some batches of Covaxin. That's why there was a shortage for some time for Covaxin in the market. So definitely the government look into all these things before they put the batches in the market. And this applies to any other drug also. So batch-wise safety analysis has to be done. Then you have estimated serious AEFI rates in population and compare these with local and global rates. So comparison is also becoming very important. So many of you are actually new to pharmacovigilance system. Actually, all these AEFI comes under pharmacovigilance system of India. So in India, Pharmacopoeia Commission Ghaziabad of India, Ghaziabad, is actually looking after all the adverse events reporting system in India. An Indian system is known as PBPI system, that is Pharmacovigilance Program of India. So what happened is in India, there are many peripheral centers all over India in different hospitals and different parts of India. So we gather all these reports from different part of India and send to IPC Ghaziabad. And over there, they analyze and collect all these reports and they further send it to Uppsala, that is in Sweden, and which comes under WHO center. And WHO compiles all these reports which are coming from globally, from all over the world, and they issue safety signals, okay, about different vaccinations. They will issue alerts and all those things, and that's where the governments will take different actions, whether to stop the vaccine or to go ahead or continue, or depend on risk and benefit profiles of a vaccine. So identify signals of unexpected events that would need further confirmation and planned studies is also required. So once you have a good amount of information about the side effects, so for example, I still remember initial when the AstraZeneca vaccine was launched, and there were very few case reports on blood clots, rare blood clots, I will say. So there was a newer interest, and as soon as the different reports from different part of the world starts coming up and the number starts increasing, that's where the different researchers will look into more into different type of study. They will plan different studies to understand in-depth understanding of this clot, that why this rare genetic rare clot side effect is happening with the vaccination. Not only that, I was looking into some other vaccinations like Johnson and Johnson. So Guillain-Barré syndrome has been reported already with, and there is an alert issued by FDA. So I will show you one of the website of FDA where you can see all these alerts which are being issued about different vaccination. So ultimately, why we need this system? The question is why we need AEFI reporting system, or why vaccine safety is important. The one single line answer is to build up the confidence of the general public, because if we have a good surveillance system, the people out there who are receiving it will be confident enough that yes, whatever they are receiving is safe and effective. So that's why we need these all systems. So adverse event following immunization is, so this is what the definition WHO gives about it, is any untoward medical occurrence which follows by immunization and which does not necessarily have a causal relationship with the usage of vaccine. So it's an untoward event. So these are the categorization of vaccine product related to AEFI. So over here, I have nearly 5 different categories of these reporting system. So vaccine safety can be compromised at any one of them. So vaccine product related AEFI, then you have vaccine quality defect related AEFI, and many others. So let us discuss one by one. So the first one is product related. So that means the product itself is responsible for any adverse event. So AEFI that is caused or precipitated by a vaccine due to one or more of inherent property of vaccine, whether the active component or any adjuvants which are mixed with it. So because you require sometime adjuvants to when you are manufacturing a vaccine, so it can be either the direct product or any adjuvants, preservative, or stabilizer which are being used during manufacturing. Any of these things can lead to side effects. So that is the first category. The second is vaccine quality defect related AEFI. So that means when there is a quality issue in manufacturing itself, and which may lead to side effects. So that is another type of safety concern with vaccines. So AFI that is caused or precipitated by a vaccine due to one or more quality defects of vaccine product, including its administrative device as provided by the manufacturer. So even during administrative devices which are being provided like needles or syringe which are being provided, or you can say there may be like sometime non-sterile solutions, or in case if the vaccine is not stored properly, deteriorated products can happen, so or degradation can happen on the vaccine. So any issue related with quality can lead to some side effects. Okay, or not only that, even if you are dealing with the live attenuated virus, and in case if there is a manufacturing defect, like we had heard sometime like during the polio time, uh, which is almost very similar to Covaxin. So sometime it is actually a dead virus, dead polio virus, which is being given. So sometime even after giving vaccination, we had heard that okay, the person got polio. So same way in this also, the quality issues can come. So the manufacturers in India are actually very, very experienced. Both Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute, they are one of the world leaders in vaccine manufacturing. So there will be very less quality issues when India, because India is the biggest supplier of vaccine all around the world. But still, definitely, as a pharmacist, we have to look into the quality defects issues. The next category is coincidental events related with safety. So that is caused by something other than the vaccine product, immunization or error, or immunization anxiety. So these are comes under coincidental events. And then the other one is anxiety related reaction. So anxiety is very, very common actually with some of the people. So what happen is some people are, when they get vaccine, they become too much anxious. Like for example, their heartbeat goes up, or they may feel breathlessness, and palpitations may happen, or they may have a fall. So sometimes it is related with anxiety reactions, we will say. So that's why many times you had seen that they will make sure that you calm down, and they have a separate place when you are getting your COVID shots. And then you have immunization error related reactions. So sometimes errors can happen at vaccine handling place, or prescribing, or administrative ends. So many times, like even in India, we had heard sometime that patient who was eligible for receiving Covaxin has received Covishield, or vice versa. Or maybe some patient has received double vaccinations. Maybe instead of one shot, he was given two shots at once. So these are comes under immunization error related reactions. So that also has to be documented. And many times errors do happen. For example, in case of giving zero point 0.1 ml, zero point 0.2 ml, the dosing errors can happen. Okay, and instead of giving an intramuscular injection, some other route has been given. So different errors can happen in different way. So this is the summary of the 5 type of reactions which are being given by WHO. So the first, what we had talked about, vaccine product related reaction, like extensive swelling, limb swelling following DPT vaccination. So it's not only like for COVID these reporting happen, but for even other vaccination, these system are in place in India and globally. So these are global acceptance surveillance systems which are in place for vaccine safety. So you have quality defects issues. So these are some of the examples for your easy understanding of it. Okay. So coincidental event, actually, I was planning to give you one example. For example, a fever which occur at the time of vaccine, but in fact it caused by malaria. So sometimes what happen is a person took a vaccination. Okay. And maybe within a span of, you can say 2 or 3 days, he start getting fever. And that fever sometime may be due to some other infections. Okay. Like malaria, dengue, or any other systematic infection, it can happen. It may not be linked with vaccination, but these becomes a coincidental events, like because you had taken a vaccine and you are having a fever, so it becomes a coincidental event which has to be actually considered, and which has to be brought into the notice. Okay, so these are the categorization which is given by WHO and Government of India. So we categorize based on the severity. That's very, very important. So over here you can see there are 3 different categories in vaccines. So you have minor AEFI, you have severe AEFI, and you have very serious AEFI category. So under minor, you have common self-limiting reactions. So that's where you can see that many of the people who are getting vaccine. So just 1 minute. So you can see over here, like they have pain, swelling at injection site, fever, irritability. So these are self-limiting reactions. So they go by themselves. So there is no need of further investigation into it, because these are very common. And most of these minor AEFI has already been reported in clinical trials in phase 1, 2, and 3. Then there is some other category which are called as severe AEFI. These can be disabling, and they are really life-threatening reactions and do not need to long-term problems. Okay, they may not have long-term problem, but still they are little severe in nature. Example of severe reaction include non-hospitalized cases or sometimes anaphylaxis that has recovered, high fever more than 102 degrees Celsius. Whereas serious AEFI, or I will say very serious AEFI related reactions, which may result in death and long-term complications, require hospitalizations and results in permanent, or you can say permanent disability for a patients. So that is where the main concern is, and that's where the whole focus is being put into, and that's where the timing becomes very important. So for all these reporting system, the time of reporting is also very, very important. So over here, these are some of the few examples in journal for your easy understanding. And even in COVID time, we can see this. So minor reactions includes like which occur within a few hours of injection site, which are self-limiting. So minor reactions like you can say pain, swelling, redness at injection sites, or sometimes papules, okay, or some minor ulcers or fever can happen. And these are some of the existing examples. So the people should not get scared because these are not new, because we have vaccinations in the past during our childhood. So these are some of the common reactions which happen. So we should not say that only with COVID-19 vaccine we are having these reactions, but these reactions do happen with other vaccinations also. So these are some of the examples out of it. And some of the example of severe reactions which are progressive in nature. So you have seizures, allergic reactions, high grade fever, or some local reactions or injection site abscess. So these are some of the severe reaction. That's why many times during vaccination, there is a category of people which are excluded from the first stage of vaccination. That's why you have to give an undertaking, okay, whether you are having a previous allergic reaction to a vaccination or not. Why you give an undertaking is to prevent these moderate to severe drug reactions. That's why they take a history out of you, so that uh, the chance of getting side effects can be reduced. And these are the one which are actually of major concern. That's where your rare blood minor clots comes, your blood clots come with AstraZeneca, or Guillain-Barré syndrome with Johnson and Johnson. And then again, I will say acute encephalitis associated with AstraZeneca vaccinations. These all comes under them. So which has to be very, very carefully investigated, and experts are required for investigating these side effects. So it results in death and results in hospitalization or prolongation of hospitalization, or sometimes the significant disability can happen with this vaccine safety. So as you can see already with BCG or oral polio vaccines, or with measles vaccine, it has happened in the past. So same way with COVID-19 vaccine, we had also observed these side effects, which may have led to death of the patients. But definitely, Government of India and WHO at international level are looking into all these side effects related with these vaccines. So the most important part of pharmacies is how you can play a very important role in prevention of these AEFIs, or adverse event following immunization. So over here you can see the injectable vaccines are expected to be given in a campaigning mode, and these vaccines may have different modalities of administration. So appropriate measures are needed to take to avoid possibility of any anxiety reaction in an individual. So you must have observed during your COVID vaccination. So that means Government of India has issued directions of COVID vaccination center that it should be aerated properly, the ventilation should be there, and it should be a temperature control environment, and there should be some separate place for waiting area for the people, so that the level of anxiety is brought down. So that's very, very important. And the program manager and implementers must plan to prevent and minimize chance of occurrence of preventable AEFI. So that means they will have some first aid kits with them to immediately, or some tablets or some medications which are used to immediately take care of some minor side effects, so that it should not get worsened. And many of you must have observed that you may have to wait for around 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, even once you get your vaccination shot, so that any reaction or immediate need to, and actually why we were waiting in these vaccination center, to take care of our severe reactions. So sometimes anaphylactic reactions or some severe reactions can happen within first 30 minutes or 1 hour. So we have to take care of that. So that's why you were all told to wait at least 30 minutes in the vaccination center after you had taken the dose. So all these things, what the government was doing is as per international directions and in order to minimize the side effects. So that's why I told the safety is very, very important. And the next is very important, preventing anxiety reactions among individual, because I had seen that we do come across many patients because I am deals with clinic. So we do come across with patients which are actually very scared for needle prick. So they get anxiety and they get breathlessness, palpitations just on the when they hear about needle prick. So you just take example of small kids. Even my kid, whenever we tell, okay, you are going to get a vaccine, no, he starts crying. No, I will not get. So definitely, even in adults, we had seen people are having scare of getting a needle prick. So that's why the government of India is waiting for some vaccine manufacturers. And as all of you know, that the third wave will affect kids at large, small kids or children's at large. That is what the experts are telling, or the news are coming out. And for all of us, one good thing is that there are vaccine manufacturers which are coming up with oral drops of vaccination or nasal spray vaccine. So, but still, there is time for these vaccines to come up out in the market, and we have to wait for the further directions of government when the kids starts getting vaccination. So preventing anxiety is another. So definitely once the kid starts, it becomes more important for preventing anxiety reactions. So a separate area for those waiting for vaccination, and comfortable sitting, well ventilated and airy setting, as I already told. And in case if someone is feel anxious or anxiety, we have to calm them. And there are counselors available in each counseling, in each vaccination center, which will counsel them. And the next is a very important part from the vaccination center to prevent programmatic errors. So we have to train people at masses. We have to train them at a very, very large scale, and everyone has to play and contribute their role in vaccination safety drive. So programmatic errors or preventable errors, I will say. So there are guidelines for safe injection practice. So mostly nurse which are being administered these vaccinations has to follow these safety guidelines. Whereas in Western world, in US and all, the pharmacists are also giving vaccinations at different centers. And definitely there are talks like in India also, that to include community pharmacy or clinical pharmacists to administer vaccinations so that we can increase the vaccination drive. But still, government has to give directions on that. And further is like ensure nothing other than vaccine diluents are stored in, you can say, the area where the storage is required. So there is no other extra product. So there is no chance that there is any mixing of COVID-19 vaccines with other vaccines or any other diluents. So that should not happen. And if reconstitution is required, a separate reconstitution syringe should be used for each vial and diluent. So sometime when you are using a diluent to mix or pre-mix a vaccine, that's where the contamination can happen, and we have to take a caution. And cold chain management of vaccine session is very, very important, because I think this was the biggest concern when India was in initial stage of vaccination launch. And I still remember that Pfizer vaccination require around, you can say, quite like minus 20 or minus 50 degrees Celsius for storage purpose. So cold chain storage becomes very challenging. And in case if you can say anyway in hello. Okay,
Yes, sir,
so
you're audible.
okay. So because vaccine safety is very, very important in that case scenario in the storage. Okay, so the next is, otherwise what will happen if the temperature is not maintained, they may degrade very fast. So the whole if you remember, there is a website of India that is Covin app, which actually track down the vaccine cold chain process from the manufacturer till the distributor. So you are actually tracking live about the storage condition of the vaccination. So every country out there has to improve their cold chain management for vaccination drive. Especially in India, it's still big challenging because we have rural areas and remote areas where you don't have these storage conditions, and there are chances of degradation of vaccines. And the next is screening for contraindication of vaccines is another important challenge. Okay, so contraindication mainly when you go for a vaccine, you have a pre-screening form. That's where you give a self-declaration whether you are contraindicated, you have a past history, or whether you are having any immunocompromised disease state, or whether you are on steroids, or whether you are pregnant or lactating woman. So they will give you a list of pre-screen procedure. The most important contraindication for, I will say, COVID-19, which if you ask me, I will look for, is any previous history of vaccine related side effect. That is the first question I will ask my patients or the people who are coming for vaccination, whether you had any reaction in the past or not. But the most important thing to remember is, many times, in case if a person had got any previous vaccine related reactions, uh, maybe their parents may be knowing, because if you are an adult, you may have got a reaction in your childhood. So in India, one of the biggest challenge what we are facing is, when it comes to previous vaccine allergic reaction, is documentation. So nobody have their own documentation with what vaccine they had allergic reaction, or what type of allergic reaction they have in past. Very very few people, like for example, if you have a kid, so you may remember them, but if you ask after 30-40 years, you may not remember. So always remember a good documentation practice, especially all of you students are very very young, and you may be playing a very important role in future about, you can say, because this pandemic is not going to get over very soon, as per even WHO experts and all. So another 2-3 years are still very challenging, or it may go up to 5 year, uh, because we can see there are different challenges. So you as the young researcher may have to play a very very important role in future. And especially I will say a good documentation practice of vaccine safety or vaccine allergic reaction is very very important. So don't think because you may be a part of these vaccination drive in future, always remember whatever is there, you have to document it. That's where India as a large, I will say, we were lacking a lot, especially when compared to the Western culture. In Western culture, the reporting system is very, very, I will say, specific, and they are very, very, I will say, uh, they report everything out there. So the reporting number are very high. Whereas in India, the reporting system has improved a lot in last few years, but still there is a huge room for improvement for vaccine reporting in India. So reporting system has to still come up. But I think this COVID system, what government of India, it has got a lot of praise all over the world, and it is actually a very good system of reporting. So the next is managing AEFI. Like once you have a side effect, so how to manage it? Most of these are minor illness. They get by their own, they goes away. And like local pain or swelling or moderate fever, it goes by a simple paracetamol tablet. Okay. Or then I will say, I will just show you, these are the content of a AEFI kit, which is available at each center. I don't know how many of you had seen this kit, but definitely it is available at all the COVID center out there. These are the kits, content of the kit to prevent any serious or very serious side effect. Like for example, you have adrenaline injections, you have hydrocortisone, you have lingual injected solutions, dextrose solutions, IV drips, then you have scalpel veins or disposable syringe or adhesive tapes. So these are the content of AEFI kit available at the centers in India. So this is how a kit look like for those who are new to this. So this is the content of these kits given by Government of India at all the centers. Okay, and there are specific directions in case you have anaphylactic reactions, what all and who is responsible for handling these side effects coming out of it. So over here you can see AEFI management at session site. So a trained medical officer or a doctor in charge of healthcare facility must manage AEFI. And for minor AEFI like fever, pain at injection site, what is the treatment given? It is mostly symptomatic. And whereas for a serious or anaphylactic, it is written as per the age of patient, administer 1 dose of injection of adrenaline by deep intramuscular route, and do not panic, and reassure the patient or parent relatives about this reaction. And suspend case should never be left alone. So this is another. I hope I have 5 more minutes, right? I will take another 5 to 10 minutes, then I will finish my talk. Is it okay, right? 5 minutes is okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sure.
So that was about how to handle any side effects as per the directions of government. And definitely, once you give adrenaline injections, the person has to be shifted to ICU in case of very serious side effect. But this is for immediate care about any reaction coming out of vaccines. Then you have reporting and recording. So vaccinations must be reported, any side effect, and state administrative authority has to take care of it. So I'll just show you the structure. Okay, so step one is report serious AEFI to appropriate authority, that is DIO or nearest government health facility, in a CRF form, that is case report form. And the next is invigilation of all reported serious AEFI by district immunization officer or district AEFI committee will happen. And this is a government system, that is CoWIN system. It is a COVID-19 Vaccine Intelligence Network, that is CoWIN. It is designated as CoWIN. I will show you the website. This is how it looks like. And this is how it works, this CoWIN system, how it works. So you can see it is a very, very complex system, but one of the very well organized system which is being made by Government of India. And over here, you can see the AEFI reporting system comes. So over here, you have a user management, you have inventory management, you have temperature management. So that's what I was telling about cold chain management. Then you have beneficiary registrations. That is where you comes into picture. So when you have to register in CoWIN app, so you have to register over here and they will give you a timeline. Then you have session planning, you have vaccinations. Under vaccination, you have AEFI reporting. That's where the vaccine safety reporting comes. So this is the data flow of Government of India in CoWIN. So all these minor, severe, or serious reactions has to be reported. So person having access to CoWIN has to enter the data, and person without access to CoWIN can give the data to the DIO or the vaccinator, and the basic information is entered into the CoWIN, and data automatically transferred to the SafeVac, another platform. So from this CoWIN, it goes to another vaccine safety reporting system. So that is known as SafeVac system of Government of India, which track other vaccination safely. So whatever the other vaccination are there, we are tracking them by using SafeVac. So from CoWIN, these data is being transferred to SafeVac system. Okay. So over here, you can see the CoWIN and SafeVac system will categorize. You can categorize in these softwares about serious or severe reactions and minor. And then once you have a serious or severe reactions, so the DI to investigate and a complete CRF forms are being sent, and then they will be further assessed about the vaccine safety. Okay, so they will be sent to the expert and they will review and they will give their comments on the serious or severe reactions. So this is the overall structure plan of the Government of India, how the AEFI surveillance happens. So first is notification, then is reporting, then you have investigation and management, you have causality assessment, that is assessing the severity of these reactions, and then feedback and response. So, okay, before I give my final comments, I will just share a few of the websites. Give me a minute. Okay, I hope my websites are visible. Give me a minute. Okay, is it visible? My websites?
CoWIN, yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes, it's visible. Okay, so this is the few of the websites. So for all you young researchers out there, so those who are interested in understanding or tracking the live data about this pandemic, so CoWIN is a platform. I think everyone has seen this platform because you are getting your certificates from this website. But definitely you can explore and study this platform. It is much more than getting a certificate, because it is the one platform where, in case if you are interested in pharmacovigilance or AEFI safety reporting, you may be requiring this system in future. And these are some of the government websites. So that's what I told in my first sentence. Getting the correct information is very important, because nowadays fake news or fake misinformations are a lot out there. So don't believe in any of these. So directly go to the government platforms and try to search for yourself. Like over here, you can see how many patients are affected and how many are being vaccinated. So it's a live tracking data by Government of India. Okay, and these are some of the common and serious side effects at Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, that is mohfw.gov.in. So Ministry of Health and Family Welfare give information about some of the common side effects related. So over here you can see mild headache, pain or swelling, mild fever, irritability, or any other side effects which are being reported will be here. So these are the vaccine trackers in India. So you have over here total vaccinations. So you can see nearly 52 crore people has been vaccinated. So these are some of the platforms, and this is a website which I recently got about COVID-19 vaccine tracker in India. So Indian status. So over here you have nearly 5 vaccines which are being approved, and there are nearly 13 vaccinations which are in trials in India at different stages. So those who are interested, they can definitely explore these websites. That is a vaccine tracker in India. And this is a website which you should know, that is from US government, that is NIH. So this particular, you can see over here, it is from CDC US, that is Center for Disease Control in US, because many of the US vaccine are going to come in India. So Moderna is already there, and we are expecting Pfizer and Johnson and Johnson to get approval in India very soon. So over here you can see the US vaccines and their safety. So over here you can see anaphylactic after COVID-19 vaccine is rare and occur approximately 2 to 5 people per million. So they give you very good information on the current status. So over here you can see there is a black box warning by CDC on Johnson and Johnson vaccine. So thrombosis with thrombocytopenia syndrome, that is TTS, after Johnson and Johnson vaccination. Okay, so which alert has been issued. So there is another alert over here. You can see CDC, FDA are monitoring reports of Guillain-Barré syndrome (GBS) in people who had received Johnson and Johnson vaccination. Then you have another alerts over here. You have myocarditis and pericarditis after COVID-19 vaccination among patients who had received Moderna or other Pfizer vaccination. So you have over here Pfizer and Moderna. So they have a very rare side effect, myocarditis and pericarditis. Then you have some other reports on deaths and others. So over here you can have a complete list on these websites about rare side effects. So these are some of the authentic web resources for anyone to refer. And some of the students, okay, give me a minute. Those who are interested in global vaccine tracking. So this is the website by London School of Infectious Disease and Hygiene. So over here you have a complete database of global vaccine trials. So this is from where I had taken my initial data. Over here you can see. So this was the summary table which I had taken today. So over here you can see, you can track any vaccination which you are interested. And over here, in case if you go to the full pipeline, you can see, and you just have to click OK, vaccine in use. So these are the data of vaccine in use. So biotech, Pfizer vaccine will come. And these are the trials which are happening on the right-hand side, you can see. So you can go down and you can see how many trials are being done for these vaccination. So over here you have Moderna vaccine, which is already approved. But you can go in depth and check for clinical trials. For example, these NCT, these are the trial numbers which are being linked with it. Okay, so this is some of the hands-on information which you can actually do and track. Then you have another platform over here about monitoring clinical trials. So what are the different trials which are being registered all over the world? What are the safety concerns? What are the efficacy of these trials? So you can get all the clinical trials here. So over here you can see phase 3 trials happening in Janssen, and you can see N is the number of participants, nearly 5 lakh participants. Start date is 18/2/21, completion is 22. So you get a complete information. You get the trial number, just open it, click it, you go to the trial site. And over here, that is clinicaltrial.gov, you get the complete information about the clinical trial related to the vaccination. So when you go and study these clinical trials and their protocols, so this is a protocol of a vaccine trial. So over here, you can see what all things they are going to test. So over here, I will just give one example, like it is an interventional clinical trial. 5 lakh participants are there in the trial, single group, and it's an open label, single arm trial. So over here, you can see intervention is biological to monitor effectiveness of single dose AD26 COVID-2 COVID-19 vaccine. So they want to test the vaccine in phase 3 trials. Okay, so this is what I want to say is, as a young researchers, always remember whatever is near to you or whatever you are hearing or whatever you are seeing, always go for yourself. Always try to reconfirm Don't just believe in what is being told by someone. No, always look for evidence. You should hunt evidence out there and try to analyze these evidence and then come to some conclusions. So that will help you build up your research platform, because safety concerns are very, very huge in this vaccine. So don't just believe. So I have shown you some resources from where to get these information and what government of India is doing to help build up confidence in vaccine safety drive, because ultimately we have to report. So that's very, very important. Okay. So that's all for my presentation. So thank you so much. So I will just give my contacts. Give me a minute in case if anyone wants to get in touch with me. So thank you so much for patience listening. Thank you so much. It's open for discussion. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that highly educational and engaging talk. I was glued to my screen the entire time. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
We
you.
all have benefited immensely from your lecture today. We will now take questions from the audience. If you have any questions, please do post them in the chat box. We have one question here. What precautions should we take at home after taking COVID-19 vaccine?
Okay, what precautions we should take? Okay, so the most important is for the first 24 to 48 hours, uh, in because I think almost 90 to 99% of people will may experience very, very mild symptoms or maybe nothing out of vaccine, but definitely look for any serious reactions in case, for example, if you are having a fever, actually it will be very, very mild fever, which may go or subside within 24 to 48 hours. But in case if it is not subsiding, the pain at the injection site, even if after 48 to 72 hours it is still there and it is unbearable pain, or you can see any blister or any pus formation at the injection site or pustule, or fever is very high, or you are getting very severe headache even after 72 hours or 48 hours. So definitely you have to look for these unusual findings, and you have to report to the doctors. Otherwise, most of the people will have very, very mild reactions and it recovers automatically. But definitely, I will suggest, as per my own individual experience, uh, because of AstraZeneca, I had come across few of the case reports. I had studied these case reports in the net, because there has been reports of microclotting or some late onset side effects or late reactions, I will say. So especially it happens around third or fourth week of vaccination. For example, if you had taken on day one vaccination, so these microclot symptoms may come forward at third or fourth week. That is what I had seen in 2 or 3 cases, which I had personally seen over here. So in those cases, you may have some symptoms like numbness in the arms, or headache, or a feeling, or a sudden fall. Okay, in order to look after this. But there are few other cases like Guillain-Barré syndrome or encephalitis where the patient has totally disorientation. Okay, so you have to look for unusual findings and co-link it with late onset AEFI. So, but I think the physicians out there definitely, whenever you are getting admitted of any history like a fall or any symptoms of a stroke or something like that, definitely the physicians do take a history of vaccination. So whether you have in past, like how many days back you have a vaccination. So do look for symptoms even after 1 month also. That's what my suggestion is. And but for immediate reactions, no need to worry. Only I will say 5 or 10 people in, you can say, a million population will have very serious or concern side effect, but mostly it is safe. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. There's another question. People nowadays are saying that if we don't get fever after the vaccine, then the vaccine is not working. So he wants to know that why do some people get fever and some don't?
Okay, so it is not true actually, to a greater extent, that you will get fever. Always you should get a fever after vaccination. It is not like that. It is like body respond to the particular, because whatever you are taking, so body take it as an external organism or external threat to the body, and body respond, and that's where it start developing antibodies to it. So the body immune system is different in everyone. So that's why some people get fever and some don't get. Okay. And sometimes what happen is there are other ingredients, and that's what I was telling, side effect related with excipients or adjuvants which are being used in the manufacturing of vaccine. So sometimes a person have uh, may have an allergic reaction to that. That's where the patient may have experienced fever against it. Okay, so it's not mandatory that they will always have a fever, because the body immune system will respond accordingly. Okay, so no need to worry in case you don't have a fever. I don't have a fever. I took my vaccination in both shots. I didn't get fever, and still I'm okay after almost 6 months. So no need to worry. Okay, fever is just a body individual response to external. Okay, so no need to worry on that.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think we have a lot of questions coming up. The next question is, what are the measures taken for pregnant ladies as they can't take vaccine but they need more immunization?
Okay, so always remember, pregnant women, and I will say I will categorize also lactating women along with it. So they are actually vulnerable group of population. So even in journal, not only during vaccination, uh, pregnant women, children's, lactating women, these all come under vulnerable category. And first of all, we have to prove our vaccine safety among adult population and in general public, because the pregnant woman will be carrying a fetus, and as you know, it is an accelerated clinical trials. So we don't know how the vaccine will have impact on the fetus of the woman. So once we have proven, because the animal safety information data is not available yet, so they are the one which comes last in the category. Okay, before the safety data much more has come out. And definitely the pregnant women are at little risk. And the good news is nowadays the government of India has given directions on vaccinating pregnant and lactating women. And for children's also there are trials on Covaxin. Okay, has started in AIMS if I'm not wrong. The children trials are also started, and the trials on pregnant women also started. I myself has done a survey among pregnant and lactating women in my own hospital. And actually, we did a survey to understand the resistance level among vaccine hesitancy among pregnant women. And we were shocked actually to see different aspect of vaccine hesitancy. So definitely many women on an average has told us that they will wait for more safety data to come out. It's not like they are all are willing to take, but definitely many women were willing to take vaccination only after a complete safety data is available. So definitely governments look into the safety profile. It's all about safety information, whatever is available. So for all of you to understand in an easy way, it is a vulnerable population, which has to be used cautionly. That's why we don't take them in the first level. So that there are something known as biomedical ethics. So there are a set of guidelines given by ICMR how to handle special groups. Okay, in the trials. So that's why they will come later. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
The next question is, why people are susceptible to COVID even after taking 2 doses of vaccine?
Okay, so that is a very tricky question. The world is looking for this answer. So the only answer to this is even after getting a 2 dose of vaccine. That's what I think already I had told you. The vaccine, the virus is mutating very fast. And we may see, that's why I told that for all the vaccination, the booster dose trials are also under consideration. Booster dose means even after taking 2 doses, maybe after a span of 8 to 12 months, you may require another dose. Okay. And there are research going on a concept known as vaccine cocktail. Vaccine cocktail is, for example, I was reading one newspaper in which government of India has directed, there is a trial reports that those who had taken first dose of Covishield, if they take second dose of Covaxin, they have a better coverage. But still it is not approved by government of India, but there are research going on in Europe and in Western culture in US. I will say about Europe because US I'm not sure about it. In Europe, already those who had taken first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine, they are taking second dose of either Pfizer or Moderna. So that is called as vaccine cocktail. So it's not new to us. Virus is mutating very, very fast. What my understanding is, maybe after 2 years, The present vaccination may not have that much efficacy, what they are claiming now. I think 2 years is very far. I think we may have by next year, we may require some other vaccinations to in order to cover more. So even my few of my researchers are working on, some of my students are working on different aspects of virus mutations and virus cocktail. Because one thing we don't forget, for HIV we don't have vaccine till yet. Why? One of the main reason is it mutates very very fast. So still it's very challenging. We are in very early stage of vaccination. I think the clear picture will come after 6 months. Maybe once we are over with the phase 3, means the third wave of COVID is going to happen very soon. That's what we are projecting. And maybe after 6 months, we will come to know where we are standing as a population at large, whether the vaccine will work or not work. The answer will be after 6 months, if I'm not wrong. Because vaccination, even they will have immunity up to 8 to 12 months. That's what the data is coming out. So we may require a booster dose in coming days. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, how long will it take to build immunity after getting COVID vaccine?
Okay, so it's another very vaccine specific question. So you have to understand that after getting the first dose of vaccine, for example, if you take Covaxin, okay, maybe after first dose, the immunity level coverage is around 50 to 70% around. Then maybe after taking the second dose, the efficacy level increases to what they had claimed. Similarly, for AstraZeneca vaccine, also after first dose, you may have a coverage of around 70 to 80%. That's what they are claiming. It go up, but there is a twist. Even after second dose, because these vaccinations, what they had made by keeping the initial strain of COVID, not the mutant strain. The Delta and the Lambda variant strains were not used in manufacturing of these vaccination. That's why you can have a lot of variations. Even after two doses of vaccination, we are seeing patients getting COVID. But definitely experts all over India and all over world, they are telling that even after you are fully vaccinated, there are chances that you may get COVID again. That's why in US, if you go 1 month back, in US, there was a CDC notice that if you are fully vaccinated, no need to wear mask. But that recommendation has removed now. So what they are telling, even if you are fully vaccinated, you have to wear mask, because you may be asymptomatic even after full vaccination, but still you can be a super spreader. So now that advisory has been removed, and again they have to wear mask even if they are fully vaccinated. So you will see a lot of roller coaster ride in next 6 months. So a lot of thing has to be, but that's why I told, the pandemic bring challenges, and challenges bring opportunity for young researchers to learn. And believe me, this pandemic has come once in lifetime. And it, I think 100 years it has come, after 100 years it has come. And you as a young researcher have a lot of opportunities to explore in this to save lives. Just don't sit idle and just don't wait for this to pass. Come use your pharmacy knowledge and get something good, whether it's a small review or educating your community or doing patient counseling, anything, but contribute to the society at this stage. Okay, because it's challenging, and believe me, next 6 months are very crucial for the world, not only for India but for the whole world. Because if virus mutates at this pace, we will have tough time coming up.
Thank you for inspiring us, sir. Now we'll have the last question, a short
Okay.
one. When can I get vaccinated after being sick with COVID-19?
Okay, so okay, government of India has their directions on this. So once you are affected with COVID-19, so you can get vaccination after 3 months. If I'm not wrong, I think my information is 1 or 2 month old. If new directions are there, I'm not aware of it. But previously, like 1 or 2 months back, if you get COVID, so you can get next dose of vaccination, or in case if you are waiting for your first dose of vaccination after 3 months. Okay, but I'm again claiming I'm not up to date on this aspect in case if the recommendation has changed. But at present, it is 3 months as per my understanding.
Thank you so much, sir. We have reached the end of the Q&A session. I think we had a lot of questions and the audience was very much interested. So we reached the end of today's session and also the end of the webinar series. We had a very successful event with more than 1,100 registrations from across the country. Now it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks. I wholeheartedly thank our honorable chief guest, Dr. Shailendra Saraf, for gracing the occasion and sharing his invaluable inputs with us. It was a great pleasure to gain insights on the pharmacy profession from you, sir. I would like to take this opportunity to show our immense gratitude and appreciation to the guest speakers, Dr. Divya Rajshekar Chinta, Dr. Ashish Kumar Saha, Dr. Sudhakar Rao, and Dr. Kanav Khera for their highly informative and inspiring lectures. We have thoroughly enjoyed the sessions and have gathered many take-home points. I express my sincere gratitude to the patron of this webinar series, Professor Raman Gupta, Registrar MMU Sadopur, advisors Dr. Vipin Saini, Dean and Principal MMSOP Sadopur, Director Research MMT, and Dr. Sumit Gupta, Principal MMCOP Mulana President, SPER Haryana, and Convener Dr. Rupesh Gautam, Professor School of Pharmacy, Ambala, for presenting to us a wonderful webinar series on a very relevant and crucial topic during this pandemic. I would now like to thank the organizing team, Dr. Ajit Singh, CEO and co-founder of CliMed Research Solutions, National Director for Research, World Youth Heart Federation, Vice President, Medical Indica AI Mumbai, Ms. Pragna Ella, Chairperson IPASF, and Dr. Sheetal Chauhan, Managing Director, CliMed Research Solutions, for their relentless efforts and vital inputs for making this event a grand success. I would also like to thank the technical and digital partners, IPASF, Society of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Association of Community Pharmacists of India, Western Regional Center, and Dr. Pharma for their kind support. Finally, a big thank you to all the attendees for attending the webinar. Thank you for joining us. If any of the audience wants to unmute themselves and give a feedback, they are welcome to do so. About the whole webinar series, yesterday's and today's events, if you have any feedback.
Shilpa ma'am, you want to share anything? Shilpa ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. You want to give any feedback regarding webinar series?
Yeah. Actually, I was about to speak, sir. As our speaker for today said correctly, that the awareness about the different programs which are been undertaken by government is very much necessary for the common public as well as for the students and the pharmacy professionals to handle the situations in the upcoming years if it is required. And the series, whatever the topics that whatever you have undertaken under this particular series were really wonderful. And I hope all the students will get motivated to read more and more about the situation and help in controlling the situation in future. Also for us as pharmacy professionals, there were many things because each and everything we couldn't read out. Sessions were really wonderful, giving us information on this particular topic. So it was a great experience attending this particular webinar series. And thank you organizers for giving us an.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shilpa ma'am, for your feedback. Lastly, I would like to make an announcement. A feedback form will be sent to you by mail by this evening. On filling the form, you will receive your certificate of participation in the webinar. Along with that, a recorded link of the video series of the webinar series will also be sent. That's all from us. Thank you and have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Fatima. And thank you, Dr. Kanav, Ajit sir, and all CliMed team and all the participants.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rupesh sir and College for inviting me. And thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Very
thank you.
Nice.
It was a pleasure to be here, sir. Thank you so much.